Hello.
Hello,
Today
Richard.
I'm speaking to the Rev Andy Fyall, the minister at Stamford's Barnhill Methodist Church and chair of the board of the Second Helpings Food Project. Andy, I think most people have heard of Second Helpings, but could you give me a quick resume of why it exists and what it does?
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Richard. Good to speak to you. Second Helpings was the kind of idea birthed in the mind of George Hetherington, one of our church members, about 5 and a bit years ago now, something like that. And George came to me and said, Andy, I've had an idea. And whenever George Hetherington says something like, Andy, I've had an idea, you say, great, let me have a darkened room. So George shared this idea of how we could intercept food waste, and he had this vision of creating a cafe environment where we could serve people with food created from that which has been saved. And of course, we had to take that to the church council meeting to ask permission to use the church for that purpose. And George did that in a very capable way. He presented the idea. Of course, once you ask for permission to look into something like this, and you start making connections with others, it's begun to happen, hasn't it? Of course it has. So very, very quickly, people in the community were fired up by this idea of having a cafe which was pay as you feel, which has got nutritional food where anyone's welcome. And that's the basis of how Second Helpings began about 5 and a bit years ago.
Right, thank you. So obviously the work of Second Helpings has been impacted by the coronavirus epidemic, pandemic, should I call it. What's the current situation?
Okay, so since those early days, and we did start the cafe on a Saturday, it became clear to us that there was a way that we could support people with fresh food and vegetables through the week, who'd probably gone to the food bank first, and then food bank send them to us and say you can get potatoes and whatever from Second Helpings. So the bunker was born, as we call it, where people just turn up and they see what we've got, and if it's available, they can have it on a pay-as-you-feel basis. So that's the part of the work which has survived through this pandemic period. You will know, and everyone watching will know, what a difficulty lockdown has been, and how it's created difficulties in society. So we had to ask special permission for the church premises to be used in order to continue the work, because clearly all churches are locked down, like many, many other places. Of course, that permission was given because of the brilliant work that Second Helpings is. And so we moved the bunker from the basement storage underneath to the large church hall on the ground floor of our premises, so we could effect social distancing as people come in to collect, and still be able to serve those who are needy, vulnerable in our community. So the pandemic, it's created a challenge, but our wonderful team have risen to that challenge and are now open 5 days a week anyway for the bunker to serve those who come along in an appropriate way.
That's good to hear. So the bunker is still open 5 days a week and is as busy as it ever was.
If not busier in some ways. And of course our cooks have been brilliant at getting in there in the kitchen, social distancing while they cook, and creating lovely takeaway meals that can also be delivered. So people might come to the bunker for themselves and take meals for a neighbour who's needy or vulnerable or isolated. And so maybe, I don't know, it's different. I'm not sure it's grown or what, but it's certainly different, and it's meeting needs.
Indeed, because the takeaway meals weren't offered previously, were they?
No, not in this kind of way. So that's a wonderful arm of the work.
So that's good. Let's hope that can continue. So do you think the current crisis will have a positive effect on changing attitudes towards food waste and food poverty?
It's a really interesting question, isn't it, Richard? I guess that we've all become more aware of our kind of shopping identity, how we go about it, and what we buy. And if our experience in shielding environment as we are in self-isolation here is anything to go by, we've become more and more aware of what we need rather than what we want. And I think maybe that's a fairly widespread experience. Of course, what you do with that experience is a different thing. It's meant for us and for many that you tend to buy purpose-driven. You make a menu plan and you buy to that. And you're just aware of the position in which those who are providing for you, because we're having food deliveries, because we're not going anywhere at the moment, are also at risk by just doing that. So there's a huge area of understanding, I think. So I would hope that out of this we will live in a new kind of way, and in that way, certainly food waste, I would hope, has been diminished. I guess it will never be eradicated because we are selfish folks.
Mm. Yes, unfortunately. I guess that's so. But we can hope that the experiences that we've been through for the last 2 months will make people more aware. And let's hope that we emerge from this stronger. And,
I think so.
And this will move on.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you'd like to tell us about second helpings while we're talking?
Yes, I just wanted to express, firstly, my huge debt of thanks to the wonderful team that we've got, of which you're a part, of course. The volunteers, the people who get their hands, I was going to get their hands dirty, but of course, having gelled them first, for the ones who actually feel themselves in such a wonderful way to ensure the project goes forward. And I just want to firstly express a debt of thanks for that. I also want to share very clearly that this project that we have, Second Helpings, is community and church hand in hand. It's both and. Or it's on our church premises. The community are so key to enabling the project to happen and go forward anyway. So I want to pay a debt of knowledge and a nod to that too. And for me, it's based on eradicating food waste, but also as a Christian minister, for me it's about showing God's love in a real and practical way. And I think that for me, when you see the people who come and how they find themselves in a community environment when the cafe starts up again, we pray, you see that sense of belonging together, which is wonderful. And you see the folk who are coming who have very little, who go with a smile on their face because they've got some potatoes, because they've got some carrots or broccoli. And that just teaches us such a lot about the difference we can make in life. And for me, that's something also about a God of love living out our Christian principles through working with the community hand in hand.
Thank you. Thanks for that. And it's been lovely to speak to you.
And to you, Richard, thank you for the opportunity.
Thanks very much. So the full details of what Second Helpings is doing, where and when we're available, is all there on our website. And you can also follow us on Twitter and Facebook.